Let's say you're a Jeep guy or a Jeep gal and you want the ultimate off-road Jeep. Well, there are three obvious choices. There's, of course, the Jeep Cherokee, the Trailhawk, because the Trailhawk means that the Jeep is trail rated, which in Jeep talk means that it can ford water, it can go up and down mountains. Of course, there's also the Jeep Renegade Trailhawk, and this one is very yellow indeed. And finally, if you want the ultimate, the most luxurious, the most comfortable off-road Jeep, you can have the Grand Cherokee Trailhawk. And what are we going to do? Well, let's take them all for a ride and see the difference between the three different Trailhawks. And that is coming up right now on the Fast Lane Car. Hey guys, I'm here in Texas as part of the Texas Auto Riders annual truck rodeo, so I have access to this car, but only for a short time. But I do have the Monroney to the Renegade right now, and let's go over the important numbers. First and foremost, total price $31,400, MPG 24 combined, 21 in the city, 29 on the highway. Base price is $26,000, so of course this is the least expensive of the three, and in some ways it's the baby Jeep, and I think it's also the most European. It was certainly designed in conjunction with the Fiat 500 X, and so they share the same chassis and they share a lot of the same DNA, but of course Jeep made this Trailhawk version a little bit more off-road worthy. And what is a trail rated Jeep mean? Well, Jeep has these parameters that they set where it has to be able to, of course, go up a certain steep hill. It has to have a good approach angle, a good departure angle, and it has to, of course, have a good breakover angle. Now, gosh, maybe 4 years ago I did a video where we talked about what trail rated means, and you know what, if you want, you can click above and I'll take you to that video and you can exactly figure out what that means. So here's my first obstacle in the Renegade. The fine folks here in Texas have dug a big hole for me to drive through. This will, of course, test the vehicle's just hit approach angle. So we are missing a little bit of ground clearance there. Let's see the departure angle. Will I hit? Nope, didn't hit with the departure angle. And right now, I have not put this in any kind of special off-road mode, but this does have terrain management select. So let's pick the right kind of terrain. Let's go for I think we go for mud or rock. Let's go for mud, and I don't think we need the 4-low particularly for this. So we're going to go for mud, and we're going to give this algorithm the best chance to help this Jeep go through these ruts. Under the hood of the Renegade Trailhawk is a 2.4 liter multi-air 4-cylinder that puts out 180 horsepower and 175 pound-foot of torque. It is, of course, mated to a, get this, not 7, not 8, but 9-speed automatic transmission that can power all 4 wheels. Now these ruts that they've set up here test the Jeep's suspension, so I'm just going to go right into the biggest holes because, well, we want to test this Jeep's ability to soak up the worst that this trail can offer it. There we go, I'm stuck a little bit, but the system's figured it out. Couple wheels in the air. We're testing the chassis dynamics, the chassis rigidity, and it did well, you know. Like I say, out of the 3 trail-rated Jeeps that are here, this is the least off-road worthy, but nevertheless, it went through there like a champ, except of course for hitting its chin. We've got one more hole here I'm going to go through, and we'll once again test this Jeep's approach angle. The approach angle is just basically the angle between the ground and the front of the Jeep. Throw a wheel in the air. There we go, done. Easy peasy. I'm very familiar with both this Jeep and the Cherokee and the Grand Cherokee. But it's very rare where I get to do them kind of back to back, so I'm really looking forward to seeing the difference and sharing that difference with you guys. All right, so here we go. We got the F-150 that just passed, and now I'm going to slot in behind the 4Runner. And both those vehicles have higher ground clearance, so this baby Jeep is a little bit of a disadvantage when compared to those other vehicles. But so far, so good. You know, out of the 3 Jeeps, this is probably the most lifestyle-y, and what I mean by that is it's probably the one that, you know, is not going to get lifted or used for the Moab Easter Jeep Safari. This is the one that's probably going to see more, well, pavement than dirt. But nevertheless, obviously it's a Jeep, and Jeep takes pride in what they can accomplish with their all-wheel drive systems, their chassis, and of course the tires that they put on these Trailhawks. One of the distinguishing features that all Jeep Trailhawks have are those bright tow hooks that are on the front and on the back. So if you do get stuck, or if you have a friend that gets stuck, you can help them out. Sometimes when you're testing these off-road vehicles, you get a real sense for how much the car likes the taste of dirt. And what I mean by that is just how much it's enjoying being off-road. And some vehicles just don't enjoy being off-road. They really struggle with it. There are times when it struggles a little bit, but for the most part it seems to be really enjoying itself and not minding the amount of hill and dirt and mud we're throwing at it. We got mud, we got a high center, and I'm not going to make it easy on this Jeep. I'm going to go right through the tough part because it is a Jeep. So I think we're going to hit a little bit of momentum, So far we haven't, there we go, we're scraping a little bit, scraping the bottom of the Jeep, but since it's a Trailhawk, it's got protection, and voila, made it look like kids play. Alright guys, now I'm in the Cherokee Trailhawk, and this one, got the Monroney, is $42,000. So we've jumped up basically $10,000. Base price $31,195. And this is the Cherokee Trailhawk Plus 4x4. 21 mpg combined, 18 city, 24 on the highway. Both this one and the Renegade have hill descent control, but this one also has a locking rear. I've got snow, sport, mud and snow and rocks. I'm going to go into mud again because it's kind of muddy. Same thing, basically we have 3 obstacles that we're going to test the vehicle on. The first one is the approach angle. It's the big hole that the Texas Auto Riders dug, and I'm going to take it directly straight ahead to see if this front chin on this Cherokee Trailhawk does rub. And I think I've got a little bit more ground clearance here, so I'm thinking that probably it's not going to rub, but we'll find out in a second. We're going into the big crater here, and we'll see if we hit. Oh, we hit. We hit. How about if we hit the back end? Scrape our ass. Nope, no ass scraping. So that's good. So yeah, the approach angle once again is quite not there for at least this obstacle if you're trying not to hit. And if this were my vehicle, of course, that scrape would hurt. So I apologize, Jeep, but this is the course that you guys have laid out for us, so this is the course that we're testing. I don't think we're doing any damage. There's a little skid plate on the front of it, and that's exactly what it's meant to do. So let's try the little whoop-de-doos here. We're going to get some tires in the air. Now we're going to have the all-wheel drive system, figure out where to allocate power, and I'm just going to take this straight on slowly, give it a chance to figure out where to send the power. It's struggling less than the Renegade. The Renegade took a little bit more time to figure it out. Oh, there we go. We got it. Under the hood of the Cherokee Trailhawk is the baby Pentastar 3.2 liter that puts out 271 horsepower and 239 pound-foot of torque. It's mated to a not 7, not 8, but a 9-speed automatic transmission, and of course, it powers all 4 wheels. But once again, I don't think that this Jeep is going to struggle whatsoever. I think with the right tires and with power being appropriated in a smart way, you're never going to encounter an obstacle on this course that this vehicle can't make. Once again, I'm taking the hard line on purpose, not avoiding any obstacles, but actually going for them, just to really test the vehicle to see how it does. A little bit of wheel spin, and voila, we're up and over. I can't stress how important tires are off-road. You know, it's literally where the tire meets the dirt that's going to determine how much traction you have. And if you want a good off-road vehicle, don't necessarily spend a lot of money on the vehicle, but spend a lot of money on the tires, because those will determine just how well you do off-road. It's cheap and easy. Yes, indeed, it is indeed a Jeep thing today, and check it out. Now this one has also lifted the wheel up in the air because of the independent suspension, but because of the air suspension, we've got more ground clearance, so I think that this wheel is it in the air? Yep, yeah, it's still in the air. So we've still got it up in the air, even with the air suspension. What do you think about that? So now I'm in the Grand Cherokee, and this is the most expensive of them all. We've gone from $30,000 to $40,000 to $50,120 now. 21 combined, 18 city, 25 highway, and a $42,995 base price. But since this is a Trailhawk, we have all the bells and whistles, including air suspension. The Grand Cherokee, unlike the other two, has a traditional transfer case, low transfer case. And what I mean by that is a mechanical transfer case, which takes the engine's torque and multiplies it in a mechanical way to give you a lot more torque at the wheels. So I'm going to put this in, it's going to go mud mode again here, because we are going to go into mud. And unlike the other two, I can also jack it up to its highest point on the suspension, because I have air suspension. So now the car is raising itself to give me more ground clearance, to give me a better approach and departure and breakover angle, which is exactly what you want when we're about to go down that big hole that they dug for us. The only thing that I worry about in the Grand Cherokee is that it's very luxurious in here, it's very nice, and when you get off-road, you get dirty and muddy, and no matter what the situation, you will do trail damage, and when you have a $50,000 vehicle, you don't want to do trail damage. So let's see.
Rock sliders, by the way, dude.
Oh, and Andre says I have rock sliders. So I'm not worried about the bottom of this, but let's see if going into this deep hole will actually cause the chin to scrape like it did in the other vehicles, but I'm thinking it won't. Here we go. Look at that. Yes! Ha ha! That is the proper departure and approach angle. No scraping, no $50,000 pain. We have the big boy Pentastar, the 3.6. Puts out 295 horsepower and 265 pound-foot of torque, and it only has one gear less than the other two. It's an 8-speed automatic transmission, and of course in this case it definitely powers all 4 wheels. All right, now here we go into the little whoop-de-doo section, and once again I've got the most ground clearance since I was able to jack up the air suspension on this. Now there's a downside, of course, to increasing air suspension. Think about it like getting on your tippy toes, and so you are taller, but you don't have as much room to go up and down, right, because you're all the way at the very top of the suspension. So while you do get more ground clearance, you do lose a little bit of suspension travel, but it seems to be doing really well in here. It's not even spinning a wheel, just taking it like it was a Sunday stroll in the Longhorn Park. Yeah, that was by far the easiest. Compared to the other two, there was no traction issue, there was no wheel spin. Now, Andre pointed out a good thing. This Grand Cherokee has rock sliders. And what are rock sliders? Well, they're just metal rails that are built into the chassis, the bottom of the chassis under the door of the vehicle. Now, the Jeep Grand Cherokee has always been a unibody vehicle, which means it's not body on frame. And a lot of guys like to go off-roading in body on frame vehicles. Think pickup truck, think Jeep Wrangler, but the Jeep Grand Cherokee, ever since it was built, has always been unibody, and it seems to do fine. You know, we've taken it to Moab, and the fact that it's a unibody, which means it probably doesn't have quite as much structural rigidity as a body on frame vehicle, doesn't seem to affect this Jeep whatsoever. And certainly going up this hill, it's not struggling in the least bit. That low range also gives you the nice ability to be able to really modulate the throttle response, because right now I can really gradually increase how much torque I'm sending to the wheels versus when I'm in regular, not low gear, but regular drive gear, and you know, when I floor it and I get that kind of instantaneous acceleration and throttle response that you want on the road, but that becomes problematic when you're trying to slowly pick your line going off-road. So if it were my money, which one would I buy? Is it one of those Goldilocks stories? You know, the Grand Cherokee is too big, the Renegade is too small, so the Cherokee is just right? Hell no! I'd go for the Grand Cherokee. It's the most expensive, but it is also the most capable, the most luxurious, and the one that I would buy if it were my money. That's the other thing does is a rally car. Woo! Yeah, I think we're mainly front-wheel drive now. Okay, but
we'll figure this out, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Whoa!
Oh, yeah. Good compliant suspension, pretty direct steering. It's okay.
Good. I'm not telling you the notes. Go left. Go straight.
Oh yeah.
There's a humongous amount of dust.
There's no speed limit sign, but you know, we're on this branch that hunters use to hunt all kinds of exotic African game.
Yep.
And there are these
antelope, all kinds of animals,
impalas,
turkeys.
yeah, and I'm afraid of flying around a corner and T-boning an impala.
Yeah, actually they said it's going to be expensive.
Yeah, it's going to be expensive. And let's face it, Andre, we paid our disclaimer. Unlike many programs we go on, this time we paid our own way.
Yep.
And CFL does not have the budget for an impala.
Although we could mount it in the conference room.
Yeah, the antelope kind, not the four-wheel kind. As always, this is Roman saying thanks for watching. Remember, click over here to watch another great TFL video. Click down here to subscribe. And thank you for watching, and see you guys next time. Ciao.